guys, Coach Julia here. A little mobility tune-up Tuesday action for you. Today we're going to work on a routine that's going to help you improve your front rack position. This is a tough one for a lot of people, especially when you're first starting off either with the Olympic lifts or front squatting. Super duper awkward to get into this position, and there's a lot of moving pieces, so we're going to talk about that. You're going to need some stuff today. I have with me a box, or a bench is okay, a foam roller, a PVC pipe, a band, and then I have my bar on a rack that I'm going to use as well. Okay, so every warm-up starts with breathing, but especially things that are going to have to do with our shoulders, because if you haven't noticed, your shoulder blade sits on your rib cage, and things that are connected to your rib cage are like lungs, your diaphragm, right? So it's really significant that we start to internalize the fact that our limbs are not independent of each other, right? If we're going to work on your shoulder, if we're going to work on particular ranges of motion, we have to start proximal and then work out distal, right? Center of the body to out of the body. So what I'm going to start off with in terms of breathing is a little wall press breathing. My feet are about 2 to 3 feet in front of me. My knees should be soft, and I'm going to tilt my pelvis under, right? So my butt is off the wall, but my low back is pressing into it. I'm going to take my arms, and they're just reaching so that I get a little bit of protraction or rounding through my upper back. Head can stay neutral, and then from here, we're going to breathe. I want you to think about inhaling in through your nose. As you do that, you're going to expand the rib cage. Think about pushing it into the wall, so low back and upper back both expand backwards and out to the side. And then as you exhale, through the mouth, we're going to push all the air out and knit the ribs together. In this position, you're going to feel some hamstrings, right, hopefully. If you are struggling to do that, I want you to grab something like a foam roller and squeeze it between your knees. Here we go, foam roller between the knees. So feet are planted into the ground, hips are tucked under, butt is off the wall, low back is pressing. I'm squeezing really hard so I get my adductors working and my hamstrings engaged. My arms are reaching. Inhale. Long, extended exhale. Second thing that we're going to do is a version of a wall slide. There's a few different ways to do this. If you check out my YouTube channel under the exercise demo series or the mobility portion, you'll be able to find some other alternatives. This one is seated. Again, I'm trying to press low back and rib cage against the wall. I can do whatever's comfortable with my legs. They can be straight out, they can be in a straddle, they can go butterfly, crisscross, applesauce, whatever you like. Whatever's going to permit you the ability to move backwards into the wall. Then from here, I'm going to have you tip your chin down and press the back of your head into the wall. So we should feel a subtle stretch through the back of your neck. Then from there, arms go out to the side at 90-degree angles and trying to maintain that upper back pushing into the wall. So we don't want any rib cage coming up and gapping between your back and the wall. Squeeze it down. We're going to take those arms up, reaching as high as you can, and down. Exhale. Driving that rib cage, pushing into the wall. Inhale as you come back down. If that's new for you, you're probably going to feel a lot of activation in that mid back, which is definitely what we want to help improve our posture in that front rack position. Next thing that we're going to do is a little soft tissue mobilization, aka foam rolling on your lats and your triceps. Again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this. This is just to prep the muscles for more intense work that we're going to do. But it definitely has a place in your mobility routine. It's just not as much as you think. I'm gonna lay it down on my side and I'm gonna roll from my rib up to my armpit. That's gonna target my lat. Use this back leg to steer. If I find a trigger point, I'm gonna hang out there, maybe give it a few pulses. I can also lean forward and backwards. Breathe, right? Constantly coming back to that breathing. For the tricep, I'm just gonna start at the armpit and work down towards my elbow. Again, I'm using my hand and my back foot to help me steer. Once I've mobilized my lats, my triceps, I'm gonna do something called a kneeling lat reach. I like to use a foam roller for this, but you don't have to. You could do it just on the floor. I'm gonna place my foam roller in front of me and I'm sitting back on my heels, kind of like a child's pose. One forearm is gonna be on the ground, and then the working arm, I'm gonna go palm up on my roller. Again, if I opt not to use it, then I just start here. Pull shoulder blades down away from your ears. You're gonna roll that arm out until your elbow is as straight as possible, and then you're gonna try to lift it. Roll back in, extend, raise, 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 raise. What's gonna be super tempting as you do those is as you lift your arm, if it's tight, it's gonna wanna rotate downward. We want to try to keep that palm up towards the ceiling as much as possible and the elbow as straight as you can. So that's a really active way to stretch out your lats. Now we're going to work on your triceps and then any potential restriction in the elbow that's going to prevent you from being able to get that hand back towards your shoulder. So I have my band looped around a bar, and this is going to be a stretch for my tricep. I'm going to place my arm inside, and I'm going to grab it with my hand. It's pretty close to my elbow. If that's uncomfortable being right on the joint, it's okay to slide it down a little bit. And then from there, you're going to walk forward. We want to make sure that your arm's not winging out to the side. We're going to keep everything nice and tight, keep reinforcing rib cage down. You can soften the knees, and then we're going to work on being able to extend that arm overhead and really stretch out the tricep by using a band. And you can really lean into this. Similar mobilization for my elbow, I'm going to place my box or my bench in front of the rack. I'm going to loop my band around it so that it's fixed to something that's not going to move. Then I'm going to take my arm, palm up, and place it right around the top of my elbow. So it's not around my bicep, it's around my forearm. Then I'm going to pull back so I have some decent tension on it, right? I need to be able to work against something. And I'm going to use my hand to help bring my working arm towards my shoulder. Extend a little bit. And then that band is trying to pull me back, and I'm working through the joint to try to close that elbow. Okay, so we've mobilized the lats, we've hit the triceps, we've hit the elbow. Let's do a little bit of wrist work. So we're gonna go palms down with your fingers facing your knees, and you're just gonna sit back as far as you can so that we really start to stretch out through the forearms and start to put a little bit of this backward flexion into your wrist. If you have not done a lot of this before, it might be super tender, super tight. Try your best to hold and breathe through it. Notice if your hands want to turn out. We really want to try to get them as far backwards as possible and then just hang out and sit in this stretch. You can play around with one arm at a time, right? Bending the elbow, coming up towards the knuckles, or you can try to press both at the same time. Okay, so we hit all the joints. Now we're going to start to put it together into a little movement. I have my box and my PVC pipe for this. I'm going to start with my hands, shoulder width apart on my PVC pipe with an overhand grip, right? I don't want to grab underneath. I want to grab overhand so that when I start to bring my knuckles back towards my shoulder, it more approximately mimics that front rack. I'm going to place my elbows on the box and I'm going to sit back a little bit. I want to watch that I'm not arching my back, so keep that tailbone tucked under. Then from here, you can relax your head so it's neutral. You're going to start by straightening your arms, and then without letting those elbows fly out to the side, you're going to curl them as far back in toward your shoulders as you can. Down. You notice I'm maintaining a nice full grip on that PVC pipe, which is ideally what we want. We don't want the bar to roll to our fingertips. We want to be able to hold the weight flat in our hands. Last but not least, I want to start to integrate a little bit of weight and then more emphasis on my upper back by using my bar. So my hooks are actually set a little bit higher than where they normally are. I would go 1 to 2 notches up from where you normally squat because we'll be pressing isometrically upwards into your J hooks. Grab your bar, take it off the rack, and then you're gonna place it underneath until you hear a click. You're gonna walk your body under that and roll your elbows as high as you can. The bar should be resting flat in your hands, against your throat and on your delts. And then from there, straighten your legs, squeeze your butt, drop your rib cage down, and push. Try to hold and breathe. Working your elbows up nice and high without arching your back, so always coming back to that strong. So there you go, full front rack mobility routine. You can do 1 or 2 things. You can try to put the whole thing together. It should take you no more than 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much of it you're doing. Remember, as always, breathe. Foam rolling is not a fix-all. We have to strengthen things, and time under tension is your friend. The more time you spend in a position, the better we get at it. Give it a shot. Like, comment if you want to see something else. Subscribe as always, and then I'll see you guys next time.